Good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it may be. Thank you for tuning in to the Brunch Gimmick here on Love Wrestling. I'm Spencer Love here as always, as usual. Usually it's me missing it if I'm not here. As usual with Lawrence. Thank you guys all for being here in the chat. If you're here, including Sandy, it is good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here as always. Throw us a like, hammer that subscribe button, all that good stuff. It goes a long way towards supporting all of the great individuals here at Love Wrestling. Lawrence,
yo,
Merry holidays, Merry Happy Chrysler, Merry Christmas, Happy Krangus, everything in between. I'm glad that you actually joined me in the holiday sweater. Not that I had to coerce you before the show at all. How you doing? You will see the sweaters. Give us a like and we'll do a sweater reveal. And excuse me as I sneeze. I think I've picked something up here over like the last 5 days. I've had 4 Christmas parties. So,
oh, geez.
Yeah.
So I'm doing great. Last night went to IWS. Another historic night for the IWS as Chris Starr becomes the first ever combination women's champion and heavyweight champion, defeating Masha Slamovich in an absolute banger of a match. Like, if you have a chance, go to Thriller and watch the replay. That main event was really, they literally
Thriller, Lawrence.
Thriller.
It's not a Michael Jackson album.
Yeah.
It's a streaming service.
Go to Triller TV Plus and watch. Like, the whole card was fun, but that main event, when they beat the hell out of each other all around the MTELUS Theater. Yeah. They literally give you a full tour of that theater because they went all around. And
I saw a photo. I don't know if it was the IWS who posted it or who, but I saw Masha just like covered in blood, raising her stars at the end of it. So psyched to check that out. Huge shout out to our friends over at the IWS. Lawrence, who is on your sweater first?
This would be Grogu or
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda,
the scientific name.
Yeah.
I believe that my Christmas sweater is the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. This is my Bret the Hitman Hart. Huge shout out to my dad, Kevin Love, not the basketball player. Kevin Love. This is my early Christmas gift this year. Every year he gets a neat little holiday sweater. So I'm excited. I'm real excited with this one. It's got like a full name bar on the back. So
look at
I'm
that.
Looking good.
You got all your Christmas shopping done?
99% of it. I've got like a little trinket that I've got to pick up. So that's like the last thing. I'm going to be doing that this afternoon, getting some running around done. Because like I said, dude, this is the first day that I've had to just sit and not really do nothing, but have no plans. You know what I mean? So like, It is what it is. It's the holiday season. I like seeing everybody. It's like the one time a year you can get everybody together for the most part. So it has been a good time, but I slept into the ungodly hour of 8 a.m. this morning. So I'm feeling good. I am psyched to chat. I know you wanted to do, you have a topic for this week. So,
Yeah.
Lawrence, as I grab a Kleenex and take my camera off for a second, let the viewers know what we're getting up to today on brunch.
Today, we're kicking off one of 2 weeks of our year in review show, and what we'll be talking about are top 5 wrestlers of the year. These are like personal top 5 favorites of 2024 who we like. It's just, as for my list, like people I saw who killed it, who some of it like is like it's not necessarily going to be who you think is going to be there necessarily. There's especially my number one is somebody like wouldn't be surprised. I talk about this person a lot, but yeah, like
Demon Dale Torborg.
Yes, all 5 are the Demon Dale Torborg.
Hell yeah, I'm glad we're aligned.
Did he do anything this year?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if he has done anything since he returned for. Oh God, what was it? 3 years ago, where he came back for Impact. He came back as part of the Battle Royal. So I don't know. That might be the last time. I have reached out. This is my it's on my 2025 goals list. Kiss Demon Dale Torborg at the Rec Room. Make it happen. I would like to also stress that my opinions here are the right opinions. You know, there are no winners or losers in wrestling. There is only me. So my opinions here are 100% correct. Sandy, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for always being here so consistently, whether it's for us or JPJ and Drew in the mornings here on Tuesdays and Thursdays or Between Two Beards. You rule. And Masha, I am excited to watch that match, Zach. Anyways, Lawrence, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah.
Me to kick it off?
I do have some hopping on.
I'm just interrupting you now.
Yeah. I've been going back and forth between 3 people for my number 5 pick. And like all 3 are deserving. But like I gotta go with number 5 is gonna be Athena, who this has like this year absolutely killed it. Been like the last year just running the highlight of ROH. Basically, probably the only reason why you should pay for the Ring of Honor streaming service is to watch the work she's doing.
Yeah,
and to put the division on her back and help Billy as much as she has, and the ending of the show this weekend was not what everyone wanted or was expecting. But I
was gonna say, the end of Final Battle notwithstanding, right?
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Athena. I'm really baffled with that decision, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But again, Billy's young. She's gonna have time. She's gonna probably win it. But it felt like the iron was hot.
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you at all.
It's been honestly a highlight and should be highlighted more on AEW as well.
Yeah.
That is a massive talent who's absolutely taking whatever is given to her and killing it.
Yep. I don't disagree with you at all. I've got the recency bias of I don't understand why they finished Final Battle with that. Like I said, I thought it was strike while the iron's hot. My guess is that they wanted to take the title into All In, and maybe you do a title for title with Mercedes Moné or something along those lines. But I think that's far enough out that you've got the time to adjust now. You know what I mean? Anyways. Yeah. All right. I had a couple of picks. Do we want to do honorable mentions later? Okay, we'll do honorable mentions later. So for me, again, there was a toss-up between, I've got 4 different people here sort of listed as potentials. But I've got Bryan Danielson. Yeah. I think that the year he had, even with the fact that he hasn't been around since Wrestle Dream, that was one of the things that for me determined a lot of the people here is were you able to do it over 12 months? I know injuries get unfortunate, but I think Bryan Danielson is the only person I would put in the conversation, to be honest with. The guy on my shirt is the greatest wrestler of all time. This was a perfect year for this was a perfect year as far as, or a storybook ending, I guess is the best way to put it. You know, he went out exactly the way that I think he would want to. He put over the guy that he wanted to, had a lot of great matches along the way. I really still enjoyed the one he had there with Nigel McGuinness. You know, he's the greatest of all time for a reason. This was a perfect cap on a legendary career. So yeah, I've got Bryan Danielson in the 5 slot.
Yeah, I think most wrestlers should go out getting murdered by their former friend. It's that was a great pick.
No, I won't disagree with you at all. I'm like the Undertaker who murdered AJ Styles, and then AJ came back a week later. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it was a perfect ending to a perfect career. It wasn't the way that I even thought it was going to go. I thought it would have been, you know, a big rah moment where he put over Swerve or Darby Allin in Seattle and sort of a passing of the torch. But no, we got a plastic bag put over his head, and we haven't seen him since.
Yep.
And I think that's just as beautiful.
And now he's farming with his lovely wife and just being generally.
Sorry again, Lawrence.
No, go ahead.
I keep muting myself. You can keep talking. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I will go to my number 4 pick, and I'll be honest. Here on out, there's pretty much a trend, and you'll see what that is. But my number 4 for this year is Kevin Owens. I think there is no one who truly inside and out gets everything about professional wrestling as well as he does. And just everything he's given, he absolutely, like, not only, like, he elevates everything he's given and makes it so much funnier and so much better. And, like, stuff that's sort of like formulate, like him turning on his friends, is like the storyline is so deep and everything makes sense. And he really suffered in this era of like the heel being completely right in their intentions. Like it's not just a catchphrase on a t-shirt. Kevin is right. This whole storyline with the bloodline, he was tortured for months, for like years with Roman Reigns, and doesn't understand like why his friends would turn his back on him and go back to this guy who's been tormenting them for years. And like the right now, the fact that they're setting up so beautifully, Kevin and Sammy going at it, like that is a match that will be a 5-star match next year.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. Those two, every time they're in the ring together, it's perfect chemistry. And they're setting that up, and I'm so excited. It's one of the things I'm most excited about for 2025 is the potential of that match. It's going to kill me because I love them so much for the tag team, and then winning the tag team titles was so special at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But this match and the reasons for it make sense. The fact that Sammy, that they sort of both now mentioned that they know it's coming. Yeah. Like Kevin
on a collision course.
Yeah, saying he hasn't snapped yet, and like everyone's like, oh my god, he's going to kill Sammy. Like, you know, he's saving that for Sammy. That's like his ultimate trigger. His like best friend in the world. And I could just go on and on about how good he has been for years and how he has earned main event spots every single time just because he's undeniable.
Yeah.
Like he needs to be heavyweight champion within the next few years. I think he had an amazing year again.
He already is.
He is right now. Yeah. Oh yes, he is. He is the Winged Eagle champion. Yeah.
Dude, I agree. I think the only thing that kept KO off of my list this year is like, and it's by no fault of his own, but I would have hoped better for KO than being in a spot with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. He did the best that he could. You know, him and Randy Orton I thought were fantastic to start the year off, but I really think it's been another level since everything started with the Bloodline and he's gotten back in with them. Him and Sammy at Mania, this will be the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, man, but like it was like what, Backlash 2019 was the last time they had a real singles match against each other, somewhere around there. And again, I could be completely wrong, but they tear it up every time. I think, you know, everybody's going to turn at some point throughout their careers, and both are excellent in their respective roles. But Kevin Owens as a heel versus Sami Zayn as a big old baby face is everything's right in the world sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, Kevin Owens was one of my honorable mentions, but I did not have him in the 4 slot. I did not have him in my top 5, admittedly. In my 4 slot, Lawrence, the ring general, Gunther. Dude just rules. What can't you say? Genuinely, what can't you say about Gunther? Every match he's in, fantastic. He is a wrestler's wrestler. I've been calling him like the ultimate spoiler over the last little bit. I think he's going to be wrestling John Cena at WrestleMania. And man, there's just not much you have to say when it comes to him this year. His heavyweight championship run has been incredible. Even coming out of that match with Cody Rhodes in probably his 3rd loss or 4th loss on the main roster so far. Doesn't look any the worse for it. I think there's been nowhere to go but up since he signed with WWE, and that dude is the man. He is the absolute fucking man. So Gunther, I really don't think there's an argument against him this year. The guy's undeniable.
Yeah, like he is definitely like a standard bearer for Raw right now. Like one of the like few people that WWE can fully rely on, and who like especially like is making that new title that like Seth only like 2 other people have carried before. And like
3 technically.
3, yeah. He like absolutely elevates it and like makes it worth like beating Gunther is a big achievement on its own. So it's an achievement that should be worth winning a title. So like it makes sense why he's champion. And like I definitely love that. But like he is definitely somebody who like the last 2 weeks, every time you see him in a match, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be an incredibly physical match where like he's going to be 2 guys just slapping the souls out of each other for like 15 to 20 minutes. And like I can't say enough good things about Gunther. Like he is definitely taking the shot when he got moved up to WWE.
Yeah.
Like especially being like one of those NXT Europe guys.
Yep.
And like easily get lost in that shuffle and that transition, but stepped up and became like a surefire main eventer for the rest of his career.
Yep. And you know what? I wasn't a big fan at some points of how he sort of played scared of Damian Priest.
Yeah.
With how the match went I almost said SummerSlam. With how the match went at Survivor Series. I sort of get it in retrospect, but that might have been the only thing I disliked out of Gunther this year. Like even the fact that he's this big, serious, very stoic guy most of the time. Dude, him getting in there and calling like Goldberg Bill and making fun of Brett in Calgary, like the dude's got a personality. Now, he doesn't need to show it all the time because he just needs to go out there and kick some ass, but that's usually what he does. I've loved everything he's done this year outside of, like I said, that one little, I wouldn't even say blip. Dude absolutely killed it this year. Yeah. It's pretty insane that he's only number 4.
Yeah.
But I've got a few more. That rhymed unintentionally. You're up.
Yep.
Lawrence, your number 3 slot.
My number 3, I'm switching gears and switching companies and going to TNA. And my number 3 is Speedball Mike Bailey.
What?
Yep. Big shocker here. I don't think anyone like this year, especially like knowing it was going to be his last year in TNA, he had a point to prove. And like he wanted to make every match matter. Like he has been they haven't announced this year's yet, but every year he's been in TNA, he's been the X Division Star of the Year. He has won Match of the Year multiple times in the short time he's been in TNA. Like the match this year with Leon Slater, who won Up and Comer of the Year, was a great match.
Yep.
And like not even talking about what he's been doing on the independents as well, but like just what he's been doing on TNA. This year he won the X Division title twice, and that title match in Montreal, which like I was lucky to be there for, and just seeing how special that was in that environment, that whole like probably one of the biggest crowds he's wrestled in front of in his hometown, and for him to win the title there off Mustafa Ali was absolutely special. Yeah, and how much he cared about representing the X Division title. Both of them cared about representing the X Division title. And to like win it back twice. Like you can make complaints about how they booked him in Tabata, which is fair with a start and stuff, but to win it twice in 1 year is amazing. And like TNA definitely lost. Like they're going to be losing a lot of like their faces of their company that they've had the last few years. And Speedball is definitely one. Like he just straight up through hard work. Like not many people in America knew who he was till he went to TNA and started working the independents again and reminded everyone who like either forgot about him or didn't know who he was, and absolutely killed it last year, especially this past year. Like cemented and highlighted by that moment in Montreal. Like that match meant a lot to him, and the fact they pulled it off seamlessly and had a lot of fun with it. And like he was like legitimately made himself in 3 years one of the faces of TNA. And like I'm excited what's going to happen within this next year wherever he goes. But yeah, I think it's solid. My number 3 pick.
Yeah, like what can't you say, right? Whether you take the TNA stuff or whether you take, like, I think this was the second year in a row he had the most matches of WrestleMania week. Speedball just rules, you know. Lucky enough to have had the opportunity to have him here in Love Pro a few times, and always a pleasure on that end of things. But yeah, you said it perfectly, man. What can't the guy do? I'm excited to see what he does next year. I think he's well, the rumors are that he's heading to AEW. There are a lot of great matches you can have there, and psyched to see what's next. Like you said. Speaking of AEW, my second All Elite individual of the year, and he's a guy, to be honest with you, I always knew was talented, and since moving to All Elite, I have thoroughly enjoyed in a way that I didn't even think I would. Is Will Ospreay. That guy had so many match of the year contenders. Even when you look as recently as Wednesday against Darby Allin there in the C2. I loved his work with Swerve. I love the fact that he came into a new company. I know this doesn't really apply to a wrestler of the year sort of thing, but comes into a new company, immediately puts over the champ. He was great with the international championship, excuse me. The guy just tore it up all year, I think, and we'll talk about this next week, but I think when I went through my match of the year list that I've got, he was probably on there 6 or 7 times, you know? So there's nowhere to go but up is the weirdest way to put it after the year that he had, but I've got no doubt that he's going to be a world champion next year. In ring, it's hard to argue he's the best in-ring guy right now, in my humble opinion. And, you know, I hate saying the phrase surprisingly. It always sounds insulting, but like the dude's been in surprisingly great on the mic, in my opinion. I don't think he really got that opportunity in New Japan. And when he did have it, maybe wasn't the strongest. It's the weirdest way to put it, but like even just speaking on the mic, it's cyclical. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
When you have the opportunities often in New Japan, you're not going to be as good as you potentially can be. So in my opinion, I think he's been really great on the microphone end of things as well too. And yeah, Will Ospreay is he had a hell of a year, and I'm psyched for 2025.
Oh, absolutely. Like somebody who fits perfectly into AEW and like who can just like Speedball, like if you like there's only a set amount of wrestlers who, no matter what you put them with, can have a 5-star match. Just like that. Like it is a joke that he's like Dave Meltzer's boy, and like he can just roll out a bet and Dave Meltzer would give him 5 stars. But like there's a reason for it, and like in all fairness, those matches are really good. And he always puts his heart and soul in everything, and you see that every time he's in the AEW ring. Like he is like any company would have done well with him, but I think he fits in perfectly with AEW right now. And like definitely think like he has a big year coming up. Like I think it's only a matter of time till he's heavyweight champion there.
Yeah. Lawrence, we're heading into the top 2. Actually, you know what? Let's do number 2, and then we will do our honorable mentions before number 1.
Yeah.
As I completely hijack your theme.
No, go ahead.
I did.
I
did.
I told you
to go ahead or not, Lawrence, it's done. It's been taken care of. Like DJ Khaled, we taken over.
I told you there was a theme and there was going to be a bit of run with these next few ones. Yep, number 2, Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Like, from like even before WrestleMania, like this is a person who's had a just monumental rise the last few years. Like, and so well deserved is why people were so behind him. And he has managed to maintain that for the last few years, and especially through this year. Like, his match with Gunther, like, wasn't what people initially wanted at first to be challenging Gunther at WrestleMania. But like, my God, did he like earn that story and everything he did afterwards with that title in the brief time he had it. Like, he absolutely killed. Like, it makes sense now. Like, the fact Sami is like the sort of like undefeated streak killer of people. Like, he is the cements himself as the ultimate underdog. And like, that match at WrestleMania and him winning the Intercontinental title, and then going from that to the story with Jey Uso and going back with the bloodline, like, he shows once again why he's one of the most talented wrestlers in the world. And he is one of the few like that can so easily just harbor emotion out of people.
Rip, it's a fucking bird, dude.
In all fairness, the bird could have robbed your house, is what he's saying. Rip's a hero.
He's gonna break my goddamn glass. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's be clear. Rip is being a hero right now and saving Spencer's house from a potential robbery from a bird. You don't know what that bird could have a gang with him, could have a flock, could be breaking in at any moment. But yes, Sami truly throughout the years, everything he's done has turned to like absolute gold and must-see television solely because of the emotion he's able to raise with like a slight look to camera or something like. And that like entrance in Montreal after winning the Intercontinental title was easily, if like you had a list of entrances of the year, if not number, like, it's got to be in your top 3, if not number 1. Like, him coming back to Montreal, standing outside of the Bell Center and saying he's going to come in the same way he walked in the first time when he was just a fan, and making Jander's life slightly more difficult by tipping over a trash can out of excitement, but going through the crowd and immediately stepping through and speaking French. Instead of saying, let's go, he said, away, away, away. And like pumping up that crowd and going through that crowd. And the set, like, once again, highlighting the Montreal crowd and how great of a wrestling city this was.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be from here to get goosebumps, like Sandy's saying, to feel that energy. And like, that was a truly special moment this year. And like, again, like my other pick, his next year is probably be highlighted by one of the matches of the year, hopefully. And like, he's one of 2 of them have to be heavyweight champion next year. That's all. Like, either him or Kevin. Like, I feel Sami absolutely deserves it, and none of that has earned that right and proven that he's a top star over the last few years. And like, I like, he doesn't win it next year, I don't understand how or why. Like, at some point he has to win it, because he's been at the top for too long, and to keep it away from him, it just makes no sense. So that's why he's my number 2. I just think he's somebody who has routinely proved himself to be the top guy and maintained it for like the last few years.
Yeah. Hard to disagree, man. Yeah. Number 2 for me. I almost considered making this a split, but I didn't. Number 2 is Toni Storm. What can't you say again? And it's pretty cool for me, and it's almost funny, as much as the people talk about a lack of a story with All Elite, and sometimes rightfully so, or how the focus is always with the in-ring, and again, rightfully so. Toni Storm went out and proved this year that, like, you go out there and you tell a great story. And again, the reason I was going to split is I was going to say this was Toni and Mariah May.
Yeah.
But the difference for me is you see what Tony's even done since she's come back, and whatever the reason may be, there's been a lot of speculation on, is she playing the part of Tony Storm, or is she in like some time loop or whatever it might be. Like, Tony Storm always has you talking. Tony Storm always has you invested, and the matches are still great. Like, her and Mariah May was absolutely fantastic. Her match with Mina Shirakawa was absolutely fantastic. Chris Statlander earlier in the year, like, she really went out there and proved that wrestling at its best is story based, in my opinion. And I'll say the same about the person who took my number one. But like, she really combined it all. I hate the phrase total package because it sounds so very cliche, but like, man, she did it all this year and did it all excellently. The in-ring was fantastic. The feud with Mariah May was fantastic. An all-time turn. Her return was fantastic. Let's even get real, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tony Storm was a strong contender for me for number one, and she proved she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's it. That's all this year. As though people had any doubts, cleared them all out if they did.
Yeah. Like, I think especially like the Timeless Tony Storm story was told so well, and the fact it did not overstay its welcome for like that character so far, like to do the change that she did right now and to do it now is absolutely brilliant. And the fact that her acting is so good that you can tell that it's like not the original Tony. She's not just back to being herself. It's Timeless Tony Storm playing original Tony Storm.
Yeah, there's something, right? But again, there's always the what's coming next. Even when she was doing in between the Lost It All In and her return to AEW, the retirement, the press conferences she was doing, or the videos that she was doing for CMLL and Stardom and everywhere else she was going. She always, anywhere Tony went, you were interested. Anything Tony did, you were invested. And that for me is the reason she's second in my Wrestlers of the Year list. And again, huge shout out to Mariah May as well too. It takes two to tango, so to speak. And Mariah May, easy, quick reveal, like honorable mention list on my end of things. Her run with the title, I just think hasn't had that feud to really sink its teeth into quite yet. The matches have been great. Her character work's been fantastic. I just think it needs that, like, again, that next feud to sink its teeth into. But like, dude, she slapped her mom at London All in front of 50,000 people. Like, all right. So there you go. Honorable mentions on your end, Mr. Cartier.
I just wanted, like, while we're doing, I just want to mention, like, also RJ City, who helped with the writing of that character. Like, it was quite obvious to anyone who knows him, but like a lot of that like classic Hollywood stuff came from him, and like the help he put in there backstage, like to write some of that stuff and to bring in Turner Classic Movies, like unwittingly, who had no like a man who had no idea about professional wrestling, and to bring that in and could tell that they're like paying respect to those classic movie stars. And like Tony Storm's press conference afterwards were always so like, it was like the best press conference, because they were so like, even Tony Khan had no idea what the hell was about to happen and was like surprised by her notes. And when she was actually at the desk, like it was always so good. So yeah, I Tony Storm, great pick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions, young man.
First one off the dome is going to be Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
Like that is a guy who, given the opportunity, like not only he made himself undeniable in AEW, like he called his shot and then worked his ass off and had just banger after like amazing match after amazing match, and just some of the most brutal matches you can ever see. Put himself through hell, and eventually like that moment winning that title was great. Like he again, somebody else who stepped their game up and helped carry one of the biggest companies in the world, and especially at like a weird point where there was like some of their a lot of the stars were out, like Kenny Omega, MJF was going to be taking a backseat to go to do some movies and to rehab injuries. Like he stepped up and absolutely killed it as heavyweight champion. And like it was definitely like somebody I like could be number one on anyone's list, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Like
Swerve absolutely killed it this year, man.
Who's your first honorable mention?
Well, I'll just tie in. I don't really have any of these guys like particularly ordered. But I'll tie in there because Hangman Adam Page, again, it takes two to tango. And I think Hangman Page, you know, a lot in the same ways that you can talk about Kevin Owens, to be honest with you. There's always consistency there. I think that it's a weird way to put it, but like his morals have always been consistent. And I think that that's a very, very cool thing. You know, he lost his mind because of Swerve Strickland and because of the way that Swerve treated his family. The reason he's going insane over the last little bit is because no one else sees that. Right. It's a weird way to put it, Lawrence, but like, I love a justified heel, that realism. It gives you something to sink your teeth into. And I think Hangman Adam Page always does that. Again, much in the way I talked about Tony Storm earlier, he's always interesting. You can always be invested in what Hangman Page is doing. Yeah, dude rules. I've got a lot of time for Hanger. That would be one guy. I'll keep going with one more on my end of things. We'll just go back and forth here. Not surprising, but maybe a name that because of the brand she works for, Roxanne Perez is on my short list of wrestlers of the year. Her match against Lyra Valkyria at Stand and Deliver was fantastic. Her couple of matches she's been involved with Julia, whether the singles or the tag with Stephanie Vaquer. In a time that NXT was going through a lot of transition, Roxanne Perez was one of, if not the constant. She was constantly excellent, constantly someone worth tuning into. And it's just, again, I hate the stigma that NXT does get sometimes is developmental. You know, it is a promotion where people are meant to get better, but then you do have people there that do hold that brand down and people who could be headliners anywhere in the world. And Roxanne Perez is one of those people, I think, right? So she is on my short list of wrestlers of the year. Honorable mention. Shout out to Roxy.
Yeah, and like also on the NXT front, I'd say the other champion, Trick Williams, like somebody who has like stepped up, like and been a great heavyweight champion throughout this year, and like his rivalry with Ethan Page was great and a lot of fun. Like him, the fact that they've started like letting wrestlers like write and do their own music videos now as promos. Those were so like his back and forth with Ethan Page was so much fun because of that, and him and like using all the like NXT stars as background actors and stuff and having them show up, like do cameos in the videos was a lot of fun. Like he has definitely like it's two people who definitely will be on the main roster starting in very early in 2025. Like I think it's a matter of time that they show up on Raw, but both Roxy and Trick show up on Raw and SmackDown. Like those are two bona fide stars who have done their time in NXT, and I think it's time for them to step on the bigger stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Roxanne Perez gets called up like at the Royal Rumble or shortly after. I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I believe her and Julia is already confirmed for January 7th, which will be in at least Canada and internationally the transition for NXT over to Netflix. They'll be wanting to make a big splash there too, and I think that could be the big splash. Roxanne Perez already was on the Raw after Mania last year. She's ready. So Lawrence. Let's go couple more each. I've got like 5 or 6 more I could give, but couple more each.
Yeah. Another one who also tangentially involved in NXT, but has cemented themselves as like a sort of must-see star that took the internet by storm, who's the most watched video on WWE's thing, was Joe. Say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry.
Good shout. Great shout.
Like somebody who worked hard, like still definitely growing as a wrestler with the in-ring talent, but somebody who just organically has gotten themselves over through pure charisma and likability, and like the way he has gotten himself over in 2 companies despite not working for one of them, like 2 of the biggest companies, wrestling companies in the world. He's like the amount. There were people at when the at Slammiversary dressed up like Joe Henry.
Yeah.
Like the outside of like Speedball and PCO, he was the third biggest like pop of the night. Like people so badly wanted him to win and still do. Like that's the only reason, like one of the reasons he didn't make my like top 5 was because like he didn't like the start and stop with him. The fact that they're dragging out him winning the title sort of like takes away from it a little bit, and, like sort of like Dempsey. But like I think if he stays in the upcoming year, because I think his contract's up this year. Yeah. But like he is somebody, if he goes to like WWE, is going to be from day one still massively over. Like there's no doubt that like his future is bright, and he will like get better in the ring and be like Sandy said, he's going to be either a future TNA champion or an NXT champion. I think it's only a matter of time.
Completely agree with your friend. Last one I'll just quick list on a couple. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, I think pretty easy to name, to be honest with you. Just a couple that I personally preferred. Seth Rollins, MVP level kind of year, in my opinion. Rhea Ripley, Jey Uso, and then the last one that I really want to shout out is Braun Breaker. And maybe not for wrestler of the year even, but like I hate again the phrase most improved, but like you look at the level that he's gotten to in less than a year on the main roster, like meteoric is the best way that I could describe it, right? Like he was still in NXT to kick off 2025. He closes the year out with a match of the year contender against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser at Survivor Series, 2-time Intercontinental Champion. And again, just wild that is in less than a year. So those would be my honorable mentions, at least a few of them. Lawrence, you want to highlight briefly?
I've got two, and Sandy mentioned one, Drew McIntyre. Absolutely. God damn it. Absolutely. I've got the Eagles game in the background. Yeah, they were up 14-0, and the Washington just scored.
They're no longer up 14-0.
It's going to be 14-7 in a second. It's 14-6.
It is okay.
Yeah.
We'll get through it.
Yep. But yes, Drew McIntyre. If 2024, if Cat Williams ushered in the year of the hater, that has superpowered Drew McIntyre, and his level of hating is undeniable, and his talent, and they're like, he is so smart and like just genuinely funny and so quick and Lawrence, so talented in the ring.
If I can hop in here, Drew McIntyre was my wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
go ahead.
Take an honorable mention out, like Drew McIntyre, in ways that I don't think a lot of people have even been able to leverage. Man, even just little stuff. And I know that like this is going to play into a larger point, but the fact that dude is tweeting out about his job in the middle of WrestleMania is unbelievable, to say nothing of his matches. Like even against Sami Zayn there at Survivor Series again was fantastic. A hell of a sprint. Same thing against Seth Rollins, who barely had a working leg at WrestleMania. His entire feud with CM Punk was my feud of the year, to be honest with you. Again, we talked earlier about Kevin Owens. We talked earlier about Hangman Adam Page, but Drew McIntyre for me is a guy that, in a world that, you know, everybody knows what professional wrestling is, Drew McIntyre makes you believe. Like, I believe to my core that Drew McIntyre hates CM Punk. And for all I know, you know, out having beers probably isn't the right phrase considering CM Punk's straight edge status. But like, they could be out sitting in the back laughing at all of us, and they probably are. But Drew McIntyre makes me believe that he hates CM Punk. He hated and hates Roman Reigns. Like, that guy makes you believe in every single way. His matches are incredible. The way, like, even his ability to leverage social media. You know, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but he won promo of the year from, say, like Cultaholic or something like that. Yeah. And he tweets out a clip of CM Punk saying, "I'm known for talking. Is Drew McIntyre known for talking?" Like, that guy is on top of everything. even little stuff the other day, like when he was on Busted Open talking about how he never sees his family. And with all due respect, I don't give a fuck. Like, Drew McIntyre, every year he hits another level. You know, he was the biggest wrestling star in the world throughout the pandemic. You know, I know obviously shitty circumstances with no fans, don't get me wrong, but he was the biggest wrestler on the planet for the better part of a year and a half. And he's doing better work now than he ever was then. And I mean that in the most respectful, complimentary of ways. Drew McIntyre rules. He's Spencer Love's pick for the 2024 Wrestler of the Year. And like we said, and like we all agreed to off the bat, I am right. So, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Would you like to give your wrong? I'm kidding. Would you like to give your wrong opinion?
Yep, absolutely. So I was close between two. Sandy mentioned one of them, CM Punk. Like, again, two to tango. Sort of my other last honorable mention there. But my number one, somebody who, like,
no, honey, no,
through their own talent and like throughout this year especially, has gotten themselves over so much and become so undeniable that it culminated this month. Somebody else who everyone wanted to see win. My number one is Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
I like. There's from like the beginning of this year to Money in the Bank, where like it seemed before that it was just going to be Tiffany Strand, but like people wanted it so badly to be Chelsea Green because somebody just like Drew McIntyre, who leverages social media so well, who has been able to, who just is naturally smart and funny, and who like can tell a great story, who has been dealt, like had to change tag team partners 3 times while they're tag team champions, like just the person who has dealt the most curveballs, and this year to pay off becoming the longest reigning women's United States champion in history. Like it's the fact that it was like a Fightful joke and she's running with it, and WWE's now going to be running with it every week. She's going to be the longest reigning. Like it works perfectly within her character, and that like somebody who like gets that character so much, and just like I think her winning the United States Championship was brilliant and the right thing to do. Yeah, suck my dick from the back, Washington. I can say that because we're after 10 minutes and the Eagles just scored another. Saquon Barkley scored another touchdown. Let's go. Eat my whole butt. Go Birds. But yes, Chelsea Green, absolutely. I feel like one of the stars of the women's division there. Like you saw, she posted a picture of Rhea Ripley. Congratulating, like somebody who you can tell means a lot to the people in the back and who everyone wants to see win, who's just like somebody who's had like who's start and stop so much, gotten released, made herself like worked her ass off in the indies with Matt Cardona, and like who easily could also be on this list and could be a 2-time Beardy winner of the Independent Wrestler of the Year. Shout out to the Beardies, happening this Thursday. Or yes, I think they're doing it. They're still live on Thursday, right? For the holidays,
maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I only run the thing.
Yep. But yes, like somebody who's gotten released, gotten injured, had tag team partners injured in and out, and every time found a way to make it work and found something fun, like found fun out of it, and to be cemented as the United States champion, I think like undeniable, just like pure entertainment value, what you want in a WWE superstar. And I think Chelsea Green exposes that, like shows that every single week. And then my number one of the year.
Hard to argue, man. Really, really hard to argue. Again, like wrestling is about characters. It's about moments. It's about what you remember. It's about what you feel, for lack of a cheesier way to put it. And again, Chelsea Green just makes you feel something every time, whether it's laughing at her, laughing with her, celebrating, like you said, with the United States Championship there on December 14th. Yeah, it's undeniable. Every time she's on screen, whether it's winning titles or going into dumpsters, she's going to make you remember what she did on the show that night. So, yeah, hard to argue. You know my bias, obviously. So, Very, very happy for her. Very, very much in agreement.
And you can tell how popular she is by like being at Media Day for Money in the Bank this year, and far and away the longest line.
Yeah.
When like people were lining up to get their questions, like for like our Media Day, they had each wrestler like on one end, and we had to line up in front of the wrestlers, like step and repeat. And Chelsea Green, easily the longest line there.
Yeah.
And like that's because like for us, probably one of the better interviews in the game, always compelling, like gets the outside stuff as much as she gets the inside stuff. Like, yes, not the best, like you can say the greatest technical wrestler in the world, but like it doesn't matter. Like you accentuate the positives and thing. Like she's talented in the ring too. Like I like that finisher, how she ended that match with Mia Yim was great.
Yep.
Like the top rope transition to the Unprettier was brilliant. Like I truly like Chelsea Green has made a believer out of me the last few years, and somebody who's willing to do anything, like throw themselves off the top ladder, and like anything and anything she's given, she will make the most out of. And that's what I think, like somebody who should be Wrestler of the Year, like that's something that they need.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Lawrence.
Yo.
Can you believe we're already our second last brunch of the year? It's wild.
Yeah, I know. It's insane that 2024 is almost done.
What are you doing for the holidays?
I don't know what I'm doing for New Year's yet. This week I'm going to it's a rare, I think we only did it during the pandemic maybe, but like we're doing Christmas Eve this year. Usually we do Christmas Day, but my brother's going to his fiance's family's for Christmas Day. So we're doing a Christmas Eve dinner this year, and my mom is a Italian woman, so she cooks a insane
There's going to be a real
food.
lack of food there, hey?
Oh, it would. Good God, it's always, and she's always scared there's going to be too little somehow.
Of course.
Yeah, despite only like 6 people being there. But yeah, I'm very excited. Like I do enjoy Christmas at my mom's place. It's going to be a great time. You, Spencer, what are your plans?
Love to hear it, man. We actually, it was my brother's birthday yesterday, so happy 30th, Parker. But we all ended up doing our like family dinner, that sort of stuff with the extended family all on Friday there. So we're going to have like a Christmas Eve dinner. It'll be pretty low key. We're just doing like the dinner itself. We're doing turkey and all of that, but I think it's just going to be the 5 of us there. And so that'll be low key. And then I think we're doing like a quick brunch and presents and that on Christmas Day morning. But same thing as my brother's going to be with his girlfriend and all that. So that'll be the real celebrations. I suppose will be on like Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day will be a lot more. Hey, drop by when you can, leave when you want to. Yeah, that sort of thing. But I do like the holidays. Last week we had our first Love Wrestling Christmas party. So shout out to Alley Cat. They're great human beings. That was a blast. But then between that and then we have some teachers that we see every year for a quick drink and all of that sort of stuff. I am Christmas partied out. So I've actually, over the last day and a half, I've completed the Pokedex on Pokemon Scarlet like 3 times over. Oh, brother.
The flex.
The flex. Well, what they did, and shout out to the Pokemon company for making my life harder. But like between the DLC, like there's 2 different like parts of the DLC, and then like the main storyline of the game, there's like 3 different Pokedexes you have to complete. And if you complete them all, you get a shiny Pokemon that had never been released before. And of course, me being a completionist, I had to do it. So I've done that. I've completed Pokemon Scarlet. I've done it to 100%. So now I'm moving back to Pokemon Let's Go this afternoon after I get my running around done. That, my friend, is a perfect goddamn Christmas, if you ask me. But for you, friend. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike. No, this year,
damn delay between us and Montreal.
It will be nice that my Christmas Day will be me just watching football and basketball all day. I'm very excited about that.
Fair enough. I'm not a big. I'll watch both, but I'll never put it on like on my own. So it'll probably be a real lazy day of watching Crimbus movies and shit like that. So, friends, thank you. I hope whatever you choose to celebrate, whatever you do celebrate, I hope you have a great one of it. And thank you for tuning in. It has been a great year. We are going to be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel for the brunch gimmick. Lawrence, we're doing matches of the year next week. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. We're going to be clearing out myself, Lawrence, and whoever chooses to join us here on the brunch gimmick for our 2025 matches of the year. You're right, though, Sandy. That is our next live stream that we've got going on here on Love Wrestling, Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern. Drew Nicholas and JPJ are going to be back here with Firmly WWE. They'll be back on Thursday. We've got the Beardies coming up on Thursday. Lots of great content in between. We'll be announcing the winners of the Love Pro Wrestling Awards coming up as well. And speaking of Love Pro Wrestling, before the year's out, if you're looking for a last-minute stocking stuffer, if you're looking for a big old gift of 25 wrestling events, head over to tixer.com/love wrestling, tixr.com/love wrestling. Pick up your tickets, whether it's season tickets, a 3-show pass, or for any of our events coming up here through 2025 at the Rec Room, at Rogers Place, anywhere in between. We're going bigger, better, badder, and more badass than ever before through the new year. So if you want to come and support, make sure you do so live and in the flesh. There's nothing better than live professional wrestling, whether you're talking about the WWE, All Elite, TNA, or any of those promotions that we were talking about today, or your independents like we're doing here with Love Pro in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Lawrence, where can the people find you if they would like to do so here over the holiday break? Or, further past that if you're tuned in later. But, it's the holidays now. So we're wearing sweaters.
Yep. They can find me on all socials at CartSandyG on Blue Sky. Is right there on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me there and catch me back here next Sunday on the Brunch Gimmick.
Hell yeah, friends. You can find me at Spenny Love on Twitter, on Blue Sky, at everything in between. But if you want to follow Love Wrestling, head to Love Wrestling CA, wherever podcasts are played, videos are viewed, awesome content created by awesome people. And head to our website, lovewrestling.ca. We're starting to get some more content up there because, to be quite blunt with it, the website actually functions now. We've been working on that for the last couple of months. So head there if you'd like to check that out. We got a lot of great articles coming out. We got our roster pages set up for all of your LPW favorites and everything in between. But until next Sunday, I might hop on for the Beardies. Maybe you'll see me before next Sunday. That's what we'll say there. But if you don't, tune in next Sunday, like I said, same bat time, same bat channel, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, right here on Love Wrestling's Brunch Gimmick. For Lawrence, I have been and will continue to be Spencer Love. We'll see you on the next ones, friends.